take a deep breath right now. Soften your shoulders. Let your mind rest. You don't need to push anymore. You don't need to force the universe to listen. Life is already responding to you. Always. The moment you relax and trust, something beautiful begins to move. When your heart stops clenching and your mind releases control, you enter the space where things can arrive quickly, sometimes the very same day. This is not about waiting helplessly. It is about allowing, with confidence, peace, and quiet expectation. When you allow yourself to relax, you are doing far more than resting your body. You are making a powerful inner statement. Relaxation is not weakness, and it is not giving up. Relaxation is a quiet declaration of trust. It says, without words, I believe life is working with me. The moment your shoulders soften and your breath slows, you move out of resistance and into cooperation with the natural flow of things. Life responds differently to a relaxed energy than it does to a tense one. Tension often comes from the belief that you must hold everything together, that if you loosen your grip even slightly, something will fall apart. Yet the truth is the opposite. The tighter you cling, the more strained everything becomes. Relaxation allows the invisible forces around you to step in and support you. When you stop forcing outcomes, you give space for solutions to appear. Trust begins in the body long before the mind understands it. Your body is always listening to your thoughts. When you are anxious, your body hears danger. When you relax, your body hears safety. Safety is a powerful signal. It tells your inner system that it can stop defending, stop bracing, stop preparing for disappointment. In that state, your mind becomes clearer, your emotions soften, and your intuition becomes easier to hear. Relaxation tells your inner world it's okay to receive. Many people believe that worrying shows they care, that staying tense proves they are serious about their desires. But worry does not speed anything up. It clouds perception and drains energy. Relaxation, on the other hand, sharpens awareness. When you trust enough to relax, you open yourself to noticing opportunities that were always there but hidden behind fear. Calmness reveals pathways that stress cannot see. Relaxation also dissolves the habit of over-controlling. Control often comes from past disappointments, from moments when you felt unsupported or unheard. Over time, you may have learned to stay alert, to anticipate problems before they appear. While this may have once felt protective, it eventually becomes exhausting. Relaxation gently rewires this pattern. Each time you choose calm over control, you teach yourself that life can meet you halfway. When you relax, you shift from asking, when will it happen, to quietly knowing it is happening. This subtle shift changes everything. The nervous energy of waiting disappears, and in its place comes a sense of quiet readiness. You are no longer standing guard at the door of your life. You are sitting comfortably inside, confident that what belongs to you will arrive naturally. Trust deepens when you allow things to unfold without constant monitoring. Just as a seed grows best when left undisturbed in the soil, your intentions take root when you stop digging them up with doubt. Relaxation is the fertile ground where trust grows. It allows your desires to develop without pressure, without interference, without fear. There is a profound intelligence moving through life, and it does not need your strain to function. It responds to alignment, not effort. Relaxation brings you into alignment with ease. In this state, you are no longer pushing against the current, you are floating with it. What once felt heavy begins to feel manageable. What once felt distant begins to feel closer. Even a few moments of relaxation can reset your entire emotional tone. A slow breath, a softened jaw, a gentle exhale. These are small acts of trust with big consequences. Each one tells life, I am open, I am ready, I believe. Over time, these moments accumulate, and trust becomes your natural state rather than something you try to practice. Relaxation does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop doubting. It means you allow yourself to feel supported even before proof appears. In that relaxed state, you are no longer resisting good, you are inviting it. And life, which has always been listening, responds swiftly and kindly to a heart that has finally learned to rest. Trust has a quiet power that effort can never match. Effort pushes, strains, and tries to force outcomes into existence, while trust allows things to move naturally toward you. When you rely only on effort, you may feel constantly tired, as if you are swimming against a strong current. Trust, however, turns you around and lets the current carry you. It is not about doing nothing. It is about knowing when doing more is no longer helpful. Many people have been taught that success and fulfillment come only through struggle. This belief creates the idea that if you are not exhausted, you are not trying hard enough. Yet life does not reward tension. It responds to clarity, openness, and confidence. Trust brings these qualities forward. When you trust, you stop fighting life and start cooperating with it. Doors that once felt locked begin to open with surprising ease. Effort often arises from fear, the fear that if you stop pushing, everything will stop moving. But fear narrows perception. It limits your ability to see alternatives and blinds you to opportunities that do not fit your plan. Trust expands awareness. It allows you to notice signs, timing, and subtle guidance that effort alone would ignore. In this expanded state, progress becomes smoother and faster. Trust also changes how you relate to time. When you are effort-driven, time feels heavy. Each moment is measured against what has not yet happened. Waiting feels like punishment. Trust releases this burden. When you trust, time becomes an ally rather than an enemy. You understand that delays are not denials, and that everything unfolds in its proper sequence. This understanding removes urgency, and without urgency, resistance fades. When resistance fades, movement accelerates. This is the paradox many people overlook. The less you resist the present moment, the faster change can occur. Trust opens the door because it removes the inner obstacles that effort unknowingly creates. Struggle often signals to life that you believe things are difficult. Trust signals that you expect support. Life responds accordingly. Trust also invites cooperation from others. People naturally feel more comfortable around someone who is calm and assured. When you trust, your energy becomes welcoming rather than demanding. Conversations flow more easily. Opportunities present themselves without force. You find that help appears at the right time, sometimes from unexpected places. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. Effort tends to focus on controlling outcomes. Trust focuses on aligning with them. Control tightens the grip and limits possibility. Alignment softens the grip and allows multiple paths to lead to the same destination. When you trust, you remain flexible. You are willing to adjust without panic. This flexibility keeps doors open that effort would slam shut through rigidity. There is also a deep emotional relief in choosing trust. Effort keeps the mind busy, constantly planning, checking, and worrying. Trust gives the mind permission to rest. In that rest, creativity awakens. Ideas surface naturally. Solutions appear without strain. What once felt complicated becomes simple, not because the situation changed, but because your relationship to it did. Trust does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means releasing the belief that you must carry everything alone. It acknowledges that life has its own intelligence and timing. When you trust this intelligence, you step into a partnership rather than a battle. This partnership multiplies your energy instead of draining it. Over time, as you choose trust more often than effort, you notice a shift. You accomplish more while feeling less stressed. You attract circumstances instead of chasing them. You move forward without exhaustion. This is the true efficiency of trust. It opens doors quietly, smoothly, and at the right moment. When you stop forcing and start trusting, life meets you with ease. What once required constant effort begins to happen almost on its own. Trust does not rush, yet it arrives sooner. It does not struggle, yet it succeeds. In learning to trust, you discover that the fastest way forward is often the gentlest one. There is a subtle but powerful difference between expectation and anxiety. Expectation is calm, open, and confident. Anxiety is tight, restless, and impatient. When you expect without anxiety, you are not waiting nervously for something to happen. You are quietly knowing that it will. This quiet knowing carries a magnetic quality. It draws experiences toward you because it is free of resistance. Life responds easily to a mind that is relaxed and assured. Anxious expectation constantly checks for results. It watches the clock, scans for signs, and asks again and again, is it here yet? This energy sends mixed signals. On one level, it says you want something. On another, it says you doubt it will arrive. That doubt weakens the connection between you and what you desire. Calm expectation, on the other hand, sends a clear message. It says, I know this is unfolding. Clarity always moves faster than confusion. When expectation is free from anxiety, your nervous system remains balanced. Your body is not in fight or flight mode, and your mind is not racing ahead of the present moment. In this balanced state, you become receptive. Receptivity is essential because you cannot receive while bracing yourself. Anxiety braces the body and closes the heart. Calm expectation opens both. There is a natural confidence that comes with non-anxious expectation. It feels similar to knowing the sun will rise tomorrow. You do not worry about it. You do not try to make it happen. You simply know it will. When you bring this same energy to your desires, you remove the emotional strain that slows things down. What you expect calmly feels welcomed rather than demanded. Expectation without anxiety also sharpens intuition. When the mind is not clouded by worry, it becomes easier to recognize inspired action. You sense when to move and when to wait. You hear subtle guidance that anxious thinking would drown out. This inner clarity helps you align with opportunities at the right moment, making the process feel effortless. Anxiety often comes from past disappointments. It is the mind's attempt to protect you from being hurt again. While its intention may be to keep you safe, it actually keeps you tense. Calm expectation gently reassures the mind that it does not need to stay on high alert. Each time you choose peace over worry, you teach yourself that anticipation can be safe. When you expect calmly, you are not attached to specific details. You trust that the essence of what you desire will arrive in the way that suits you best. This flexibility increases magnetism. Life has more room to surprise you when you are not micromanaging outcomes. Many of the most fulfilling experiences arrive in ways you never planned, but they can only reach you if you remain open. Expectation without angst. Anxiety also changes how you experience the present moment. Instead of feeling like you are stuck in a waiting room, you feel at ease where you are. You enjoy now while trusting what is next. This enjoyment further amplifies attraction because joy is naturally inviting. Life moves toward joy the way water flows toward an open channel. Calm expectation does not rush time. It respects timing. It understands that rushing comes from fear, while patience comes from trust. This patience is not passive. It is quietly alert and ready. In this state, you are prepared to receive without tension. You are present enough to notice when things begin to shift. Over time, practicing expectation without anxiety reshapes your emotional patterns. You stop reacting with worry and start responding with confidence. You become comfortable with anticipation rather than stressed by it. This emotional shift creates a steady inner environment where good things can land and stay. When you expect without anxiety, you become magnetic because you are no longer pushing against life. You are inviting it. Your energy says, I am ready and I am at peace. That combination is powerful. It clears the path, opens the door, and allows what you desire to arrive naturally, smoothly, and often sooner than you imagined. Your subconscious mind is always listening, always absorbing, always responding. It does not analyze, argue, or question in the way your conscious mind does. It simply accepts what you repeatedly communicate through your emotions, beliefs, and inner state. Calm certainty is one of the clearest messages you can send. When you are calmly certain, you are not trying to convince yourself or force belief. You are quietly settled in the knowing that something is true, and your subconscious responds immediately to that tone. The subconscious does not respond well to emotional chaos. When your thoughts are frantic or your emotions are charged with fear, the message becomes distorted. Anxiety tells the subconscious that something is wrong or missing. Calm certainty tells it that things are already handled. This difference changes everything. The subconscious works to support what it believes is real. When it senses calm assurance, it begins to align your perceptions, behaviors, and responses accordingly. Calm certainty feels steady. It is not loud or dramatic. It does not rush or demand proof. It is similar to the confidence you feel about something you know deeply, like your own name or your ability to breathe. You do not argue with these facts. You simply accept them. When you hold your intentions with this same inner ease, the subconscious accepts them as instructions rather than wishes. Many people attempt to change their inner world by repeating affirmations with tension. They say the words, but their bodies remain tight and their emotions remain doubtful. The subconscious picks up on the tension, not the words. It responds to the emotional tone beneath the language. Calm certainty carries a relaxed emotional tone that signals safety and truth. In this state, repetition becomes unnecessary. The message is already clear. Your subconscious is deeply connected to your nervous system. When you are calm, your nervous system is balanced and learning becomes effortless. New beliefs settle in easily because there is no internal resistance. This is why insights often arrive during moments of rest rather than during struggle. Calm certainty creates the same environment. It allows new assumptions to take root without being challenged by fear. Certainty without calm can feel rigid. Calm without certainty can feel passive. But when the two come together, they form a powerful alignment. Calm certainty does not argue with doubt. It simply does not engage with it. Doubt loses its grip when it is not fed with attention. Over time, the subconscious learns which signals to prioritize. When calm certainty becomes familiar, it becomes dominant. Your subconscious also influences how you interpret experiences. When you are calmly certain, you notice evidence that supports your belief. You interpret events in a way that reinforces trust rather than fear. Small confirmations feel meaningful instead of coincidental. This selective perception is not denial, it is alignment. The subconscious filters reality based on what it expects to be true. Calm certainty also affects how you act, often without conscious effort. Your posture, tone of voice, and decisions shift. You stop over-explaining, overthinking, and second-guessing. These behavioral changes further reinforce the subconscious message. Each aligned action strengthens the belief, creating a feedback loop of confidence and ease. Even when external circumstances appear unchanged, calm certainty keeps your inner state stable. This stability is crucial because the subconscious learns through consistency. Emotional ups and downs confuse it. Steady calm teaches it what to maintain. Over time, what once felt uncertain becomes familiar, and familiarity is the subconscious definition of truth. Practicing calm certainty does not mean ignoring challenges. It means meeting them without panic. When challenges arise, you remain grounded, trusting that solutions will emerge. This response trains the subconscious to associate problems with resolution rather than threat. Eventually, your inner world becomes a place of reassurance rather than alarm. As calm certainty becomes your natural state, the subconscious works continuously in your favor. It aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions with outcomes that match your inner assumptions. You no longer need to push or persuade yourself. Your inner world is already convinced. And when the subconscious is convinced, it responds with precision, ease, and quiet power. One of the most common habits of the mind is its need to figure everything out. It wants to know how things will happen, when they will happen, and what steps must be taken to make them real. While this habit may feel practical, it often creates unnecessary tension. Letting go of the how is not about becoming careless or passive. It is about releasing the strain that comes from trying to control processes that are not meant to be controlled. Staying with done means resting in the feeling of completion rather than wrestling with the path. The mind believes that understanding the route guarantees safety, yet life rarely unfolds in straight lines. When you cling to the how, you limit the number of ways your desires can arrive. You narrow infinite possibilities into a single scenario. Letting go opens those possibilities again. When you stay with the sense of done, you allow life to choose the most natural and efficient route. The feeling of done is calm and settled. It does not ask questions. It does not seek reassurance. It feels similar to remembering something that already happened. There is no urgency attached to it. When you dwell in this feeling, your nervous system relaxes. Relaxation signals trust, and trust invites cooperation from forces beyond your conscious planning. Focusing on the how keeps the mind busy, but not necessarily productive. It often leads to overthinking, doubt, and second-guessing. Each unanswered question adds weight to the process. Staying with done removes that weight. It simplifies your inner experience. Instead of juggling possibilities, you rest in certainty. This certainty does not come from evidence, it comes from alignment. When you let go of the how, you also release the need to monitor progress. Monitoring often comes from fear that something will go wrong if you are not constantly alert. But constant alertness exhausts the mind and body. Staying with done gives you permission to live fully in the present moment. You stop postponing peace until after the outcome arrives. Peace becomes available now. Your subconscious responds powerfully to this state. It does not need instructions on the steps. It needs a clear sense of outcome. When you feel done, your subconscious treats it as reality. It begins to guide your attention and behavior in subtle ways that support completion. Ideas surface naturally. Timings align. You may find yourself taking inspired action without effort or pressure. Letting go of the how also softens disappointment. When you are attached to a specific path, any deviation feels like failure. When you stay with done, deviations become redirections. You trust that the end result is secure, even if the route changes. This trust keeps your emotional state stable, which is essential for sustained confidence. There is also a deep sense of freedom in releasing the need to control details. You realize that your role is not to micromanage life, but to align with it. Staying with done shifts your identity from someone striving to someone receiving. Receiving is not passive, it is receptive. It allows you to notice and accept support and appears. Many people fear that letting go of the how means they will stop taking action. In reality, the opposite happens. Action becomes more intuitive and less forced. You move when it feels right rather than when you feel pressured. This kind of action is efficient because it is aligned. It does not drain energy, it builds it. Staying with done also changes how you experience waiting. Waiting no longer feels empty or frustrating. It feels purposeful and calm. You are not waiting for life to begin. You are living while knowing the outcome is secure. This inner security makes the present moment richer and more enjoyable. Over time, practicing this mindset retrains your relationship with uncertainty. Uncertainty becomes less threatening because you trust the destination. You no longer need constant reassurance. Your inner world becomes quieter, more stable, and more confident. When you let go of the how and stay with done, you step into a deeper partnership with life. You allow solutions to emerge in ways you could never plan. You discover that ease often achieves what effort cannot. And in this state of relaxed certainty, what once felt distant begins to feel inevitable. Same-day results are not created by rushing, forcing, or obsessing over time. They are created by alignment. Alignment means that your thoughts, emotions, and inner state are all moving in the same direction. When there is no inner conflict, energy flows freely. And when energy flows freely, results no longer feel delayed. What seems like speed from the outside is actually coherence on the inside. Most delays come from mixed signals. One part of you wants change, while another part doubts it, fears it, or feels unworthy of it. This inner contradiction slows everything down. Same-day alignment removes that contradiction. It is the moment when you stop arguing with yourself. When your desire, belief, and emotional tone agree, life responds quickly because there is nothing blocking the response. Alignment always begins now, not later. Many people wait for external proof before allowing themselves to feel settled. They tell themselves they will relax once things improve. But alignment works in the opposite direction. You relax first, you settle first, you bring your inner world into harmony, and then the outer world reflects it. Same-day alignment means choosing coherence in this moment, regardless of appearances. Your emotional state plays a central role in alignment. Emotions are not reactions to life, they are signals to life. When your emotions are calm, confident, and open, you communicate readiness. Anxiety communicates hesitation. Frustration communicates resistance. Same-day alignment comes from emotional clarity, not emotional intensity. Quiet confidence speaks louder than urgency ever could. Alignment also requires honesty with yourself. It means noticing when your thoughts say one thing but your body feels another. You may say you believe, yet your stomach is tight and your breath is shallow. Bringing awareness to this gap is the first step. Softening the body, slowing the breath, and choosing a calmer inner narrative brings these parts back into agreement. Once they align, momentum builds naturally. When you are aligned, you stop postponing your sense of completion. You do not wait for the phone call, the message, or the outcome to feel at ease. You embody the feeling of resolution now. This embodiment is powerful because the subconscious does not distinguish between imagined and experienced states. When you feel resolve, it treats the situation as resolved and begins to orchestrate matching experiences. Same-day alignment also affects your perception. You become more present and alert. You notice openings you might have missed before. You respond rather than react. Timing improves because you are attuned rather than distracted by inner noise. What looks like coincidence is oft and the result of heightened awareness. Action taken from alignment feels different. It is not driven by panic or pressure. It feels natural, almost obvious. You may make a call, send a message, or take a step that feels simple yet significant. These actions are effective because they are not fueled by fear. They are guided by clarity. Even small aligned actions can produce immediate shifts. Letting go is another key element of alignment. Letting go does not mean giving up your intention. It means releasing the emotional struggle around it. When you stop gripping the outcome, your energy softens. Soft energy moves faster than rigid energy. This is why relief often precedes breakthroughs. Relief signals that alignment has been restored. Alignment also changes your relationship with time. You stop measuring progress by hours and minutes. You trust that when alignment is present, timing takes care of itself. This trust removes urgency, and without urgency, resistance disappears. In this state, same-day results become possible because nothing is pushing against them. Even if external results do not appear immediately, alignment still matters. It stabilizes your inner world and keeps you open rather than discouraged. Often, what feels like later is actually unfolding through multiple small shifts happening at once. Alignment ensures you are in the right place, internally and externally, to receive them. Same-day alignment is not something you force, it is something you allow. It begins with a decision to come back into harmony with yourself. When your inner world is clear and settled, life mirrors that clarity with surprising speed, and sometimes that speed looks like the very same day.